Hello and welcome to Move Live, presented by SharpStack. Ryan Noonan, joined here, as always, by my friend Connor Allen. Week 14, mostly in the books, my friend. Final stretch here, 4 regular season weeks to go. How we doing?
Good. Yeah, it was tilting early, got saved late on some props, and then had some nice alts on Quorum, some decent Luther Burden stuff that came through for anyone watching the Friday show. I think we were talking about that a good bit. So, yeah, I ended up with some good wins. It was like I would say solid week overall, and the alts made up for most of it. But how about you?
Better week for myself than it was for me for the subscribers. So I'm gonna get back to the subscribers this week. So I just 2-4 on official plays, which isn't good. But some of the stuff that we didn't play that we were able to get down on helped personally, right? The early Michael Wilson stuff that we jumped on just before the Marvin Harrison news and the early Burden stuff, like you said, some, individual tackle stuff was good. But we'll get back on it this week. I'm excited. We're done with buys. We are, like I said, we have 4 weeks to go in the regular season. Everything matters. We had some really impactful games on the docket there in week 14, and week 15 has some bangers as well. And we're also going to get into some of like the just absolutely nothing to play for type games. But, some of these teams had those in September, if we're being honest. So it doesn't really change here in week 15. So excited to pack through. We'll kind of walk through some of the big takeaways here. We'll look at Playoff Sim. Again, shout out to the New York Times Playoff Sim. I think it's a really cool tool. We'll walk through some of that stuff, look at some of the schedule stuff that's coming up over the next 4 weeks, and look at some of the future stuff here as well. We want to remind folks to take advantage of the SharpStack trial, free 7-day trial. If you head over to the site right now, 4for4.com/plans, email address. You don't need a paid account. Get that free trial. Use promo code HOLIDAYS if you want to extend beyond that. Hit us up if you have any questions. Great resource. And again, that's a full 12 months. So you want to start banging college hoops, all the bowl games, college football playoffs, and then obviously all the stuff through the NFL. And then, soon we'll have baseball and WNBA and no days off for SharpStack. So check that out. Free 7-day trial right now. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll be back on Friday with slot for prop drop, 3 p.m. Eastern. Let's jump into it. Week 14, biggest takeaway, Connor, loaded slate, a lot of big games. What's going to stick out 48 hours from now for you?
Gosh, I mean, there's a lot, but high level here, I think the Colts are just toast. I think it's over. It's
what's interesting? It's probably going to be over. But if you're a Colts fan, now you have the optimism to roll in the next season and tell yourself that it only fell apart because of the injuries. It might not be the case necessarily. You maybe propped yourself up a little bit on an easy schedule, and now you get to sell yourself that bill of goods moving into the offseason, because the slate of schedule coming up here for the Colts is going to be tough either way.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that though is that's 10 months away. It's like they have 10 months to stew on this. They're still kind of like, man, what if? And I think that feeling is probably going to linger for Colts fans for a while, because, I mean, the key ones here, Daniel Jones, obviously, torn Achilles, likely some kind of compensation injury for his fractured fibula that he was playing through, almost certainly. And then, obviously Sauce Gardner matters too. So that his injury was big too. So when you have both of that combined, and then you're starting Riley Leonard, Anthony Richardson's dealing with a globe injury, I think, or like some kind of face injury.
He broke his face.
Yeah. So I don't think he's going to play this year. That's what it seems like. I doubt he's going to play. So you're stuck with Riley Leonard, and against a tough schedule, I think it's probably over. And I think the Texans or Jags, or maybe both, make a run here.
Yeah. I feel like I'm mad that we speculated on that. I didn't take any action on that.
Me neither. We talked about it last week.
Yeah. I feel like we talked about it like 2 weeks ago, even too, when we were coming off of like the Bills Buffalo game, or the Texans Buffalo game, which I thought was, an interesting situation there. And now, I mean, look, the Colts have a situation that really the problem is that you highlighted they lost Sauce, but like Seattle next week, and again, what's because of no Anthony Richardson. Again, we can have discussions. I don't know how much the spread is impacted. It was Anthony Richardson, but Seattle, San Fran, Jacksonville, Houston to finish for the Colts. I mean, there's a real scenario here where they're finish 8 and 9, and they don't own that first round pick anymore. That pick is now the Jets' first round pick.
Oh yeah,
for the Sauce trade. So, you don't even really get the benefit of this kind of late season slide, which seems fairly inevitable with, so much to play for all of those teams. And obviously going to be massive dogs with Riley Leonard, who was fairly allergic to the forward pass at Notre Dame. Really seemed reluctant to run yesterday, which is weird. I thought like he came in and I was looking live. I'm like, are we going to get Riley Leonard live rushing lines? He ran 2 times for 5 yards, and
weird.
All things considered, like, I knew instantly that we a joint play of Tyler Warren. I'm like, we were so dead right away.
Completely dead. Yeah.
Dead. And didn't even give us like a hope, which was actually pretty nice of him because, didn't even have to sweat that coming in. He wasn't even really targeting him at all. But definitely threw the ball more than I was expecting. Tough task to now go on the road to Seattle to kind of bounce back. But yeah, they're fairly dead. That's a tough one. Are the Chiefs dead? Are the Chiefs all the way dead playoff wise?
What does the playoff sim say? It's got to be close, right? Like, I mean,
so I think this is the current standings. I'm going to pop it up here on the screen. Yeah, they are. I mean, they're mostly done. So right now 6 and 7, projected 9 and 8. We get into the Chiefs specific. I think they allow us to drill down here. I believe I played around with this a little bit today.
1%.
Yeah, if they win out, so say they win out, now they're 52% winning out.
Okay.
We're moving. We're on the move. We're simming as we go. We're sim. Okay, there's 4,000 sims. Slop likes to do the mental sims. We did the actual sims.
Yeah.
So if you include a Chargers win tonight, we're dropping down into like the 40 range, right? So, and that's again with them winning out. So all the different things that you would need along the way, they just don't have. The only tiebreaker they had in those teams that were bunched up was the Colts, and the Colts are now fully removed from, the playoff picture here. So, I mean, They're not, but again, they are for all intents and purposes. So that's the tricky part because they don't have they lost that Jags game. They now have lost the Texans game, so if those teams are fighting for a wild card instead, they lost to the Bills, right? So they have kind of a tough draw here. So it doesn't say that they're dead, but it feels like they're very, very dead. They need to win out and they need a ton of help.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I'm betting on anymore. It's like something I think we're interested in taking speculative stabs on. Now, not quite as interested. I wonder what they say about the Ravens because they feel like they're in a similar boat right now as well. I mean, sitting at 6 and 7, NFL.com has them at a current 32% probability to make the playoffs. So I guess a little bit rosier outlook, but I think New York Times looks like it disagrees there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a path for the Ravens to lose out. Crazy. I mean, right now, 27% chance. Let's have them win out. But look, I mean, the schedule's a little tougher. They just lost to Cincinnati. They got to go there and do that again. They host New England, which again, like if we're talking about like our perception of the Ravens versus what we've seen from the Ravens, this is where it starts to get, a little bit difficult. Then you got to go to Green Bay, and then you just got to go again to Pittsburgh, who, again, you just lost to. So I don't think anyone's going to sell me on them being better than the Patriots right now or better than Green Bay. And then they've lost to the other two teams that they've played. So let's say that they win out in the same scenario that we did with the Chiefs. Well, that gets a little bit easier, obviously, because they're winning in the division here.
If they win out, they are in. Looks like. In.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So just got to win out, I guess. But the Bengals are no pushover. They should have probably beaten the Bills. They kind of kicked them. I mean, they would get some weird interceptions there. But yeah, I mean, the Bengals are a good team. Like the Bengals are a good team right now with how they're playing, at least offensively. So here, if we give them, they have to win out, and then it becomes a coin flip in the Steelers game, basically, right? They win and they're in, but they stumble at any point here, and they're done. It's over.
It's over. So, which is tough. Because again, like some of these teams in the AFC, like is Pittsburgh a good team? Like It's a tough watch. It's a tough hang. Like,
yeah, it's not great.
they finally pushed the ball down the field. It felt like their scripted plays involved taking some shots deep against Baltimore, and they hit, I think, their first 20-yard completion since like October. I saw like a 20 air yard completion.
Yeah.
So just been such a wild offense there. Like, Rodgers just does not want to take a hit. I saw too, like, I watched the game with the Steelers fans. He's pretty frustrated watching this team. And we're looking at it too. Like, you have the lowest average depth of target in the league, and they are last in yards versus the sticks. So like, there's just so many opportunities where it's like 3rd and 8. Well, it's a 4-yard attempt, and you just better hope you break a tackle and get there, because we're not actually pushing the ball down the field again. So, but again, they look to be, in a nice, comfortable spot. The Bengals would have been very, very interesting if they would have won yesterday.
Yep.
But because their schedule is fairly soft, but they obviously did not win. So yeah, the Ravens need to win out, and then they win out, they are in. But a tough task considering what happens there. Yeah, so you can see you went out, and it comes down to the coin flip of week 18. So
that's wild. And I mean, the Steelers right now, it's funny. So if you look at the futures odds right now, it's like odds to win the AFC. The Ravens and the Chiefs both have better odds than the Steelers, and the Steelers are like pretty likely to make the playoffs at this point, more likely than not, it seems like. And then, but to win the AFC, like, they're at, like, I don't know, it depends where you look, 25-1 DraftKings is what it's looking at. There.
It's funny.
Which is just hilarious, just considering, because like books are like not even giving them a chance, even if they do make the playoffs, and they're way more likely to make the playoffs than the other two teams. But I guess kind of like going with this conversation, like, we have all these different options in the AFC, and like, books don't really even know what to do with it. Plus 300 to plus 500 for the top 5 options there, or 4 options basically. So
yeah.
And I don't love any of them, except for, I mean, I don't love any of them, honestly. Like, maybe the Patriots, but they're all just fine.
They all definitely have question marks. That's for sure.
Right. Like, Denver and Houston both have, great defenses, but question around their offense. Patriots, not exactly battle tested, and the Bills receiving group is, I mean, who knows? And their defense is their own problem. So,
yeah. I mean, the Bills kind of deserve to be sitting where they are on this board. They have the best player. Or he might not be the MVP. He might be the MVP. I don't know. We can have that discussion, but he's the best player, and he can do what he did yesterday, essentially put his team on his back and do kind of something that only he seems to be the guy to do right now. Seems like he's even separated a little bit, right? It felt like it was very much a Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Mahomes, Lamar, Allen kind of situation. Burrow kind of there too, right? We just have had Burrow being, injured at times the last handful of years, but pretty much those 4 and those teams have always been in the mix. Though we've had kind of the Bengals defense situation kind of hovering there too, but now it feels like Josh has kind of just been more consistent and has been able to, I think, rise above the situation more than some of the other guys have been able to do with their team. So yeah, Patriots clearly unproven, a bunch of key injuries, both sides of the ball, guys that they're going to get back though. So that's encouraging. They're just going to get through this, and they got Buffalo and Ravens next 2. And then, Dolphins and Jets. Dolphins, though, same record as the Chiefs right now, which is, again, like,
hilarious.
Is that crazy? I felt like I had a legit sweat for a little bit on Dolphins' worst record earlier in the season.
And they're cooking now. I mean, they're cooking. The Jets are still in consideration. If the Titans win a game here, I think they're tied, right? Titans are at 2-11.
It's crazy. Yeah, we have that too. The the draft, tankathon.
Oh yeah, draft
here too.
Oh, Raiders! Wow, look at this. Raiders, the new favorites. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about the Raiders, to be honest.
8 teams, 3-10 or worse. It's rough. Oh, it's rough.
It's wild.
Now remember, the Falcons don't own this pick. This is the Rams pick. And then this Colts pick right here is the Jets. So Jets are positioned to have a couple of solid picks. Again, considering there's a real chance that the Colts possibly finish 8-9, and that's, they're kind of hovering in this range. So you could have 2 top 12-ish picks for the Jets, which is, good way to continue to rebuild. They've been rebuilding for quite a long time, but continuing to do so. Same thing with the Browns. The Browns will have a couple decent picks too, right?
Mendoza feels like a guy that Brady would push for too.
Sure.
But
he seemed to have that moment the other night, right? We can always talk about the quarterbacks in the draft, and then just like they always just rise through the process. One will, right? Eventually.
Yeah, I think it'll be Mendoza. Mendoza's already basically kind of there anyway, so it's like, but yeah, it's an interesting next couple of weeks, I think, for the bottom of the board, mostly for draft purposes, and like a lot of those teams need quarterbacks. A lot of them just like very uncertain futures or mortgage their future accidentally, like the Falcons.
Yeah.
I mean, Penix is probably, I think by default just have to give him another run. Like they don't have any other options, right?
You got to give him another run. Yeah. And again, they don't own their first round pick. So you got to give him another run.
Yeah. You just don't have any other options, but
yeah.
Like, I guess that's another conversation. Then the Vikings, we talked about them before, like with JJ McCarthy, if he had another couple bad games, like you're probably bringing in some veteran help. And Ian Rappaport actually suggested that before the game and said that they're likely to bring in some veteran, I think he said guidance or, but basically competition. So that would not be surprising at all. Now he did play very well. 16 of 23 for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. Definitely looked better than he has in the past, but it came against the Commanders.
Yeah, Commanders are full sell mode. It looked like it's pretty rough.
You know what? I almost bet some Jaden Daniels unders under the premise of like he's probably not going to run that much because like he doesn't want to put his body on the line. If he does get dinged up at all, maybe just like they just don't use him, and that is exactly what happened. And I'm like, you're kicking myself. I'm like, why didn't I? Like the theory was right there, but the problem is it was just like very speculative. Like he also could have just came out and just been like, oh, I'm going to just run for 100 yards because it's fun,
Yeah, it wasn't like a lower leg injury or a leg injury or anything. So, but yeah, that's been something he's going to have to answer for sure. This time last year, without a doubt, they feel like they had the answer long term at quarterback, and
right.
I probably still do, at least in the short term. But this was his problem, at college, and it was kind of the knock on him coming out. Part of why I didn't want him, or like I was eating crow a little bit last year, because I remember the draft late last year position. I'm just like, hey, I want a chance at Caleb or Drake May. Like I want those guys who don't want Jaden Daniels, mostly just because I was worried about him staying healthy and a little bit of an older prospect. And look, seems like it's weird because you have a young quarterback, but you just have the oldest team in the league around him. So they had to have a busy offseason. We'll see what happens there. But I don't know what to make of the Ravens. Our other Super Bowl pick was the Packers. Interesting Packers-Bears game, 28-21. Bears showed a little fight because, again, felt like, that first half was
just dominated. Yeah, just all Packers.
All Packers. Should have been, the score didn't even really indicate 14-3 how much of a blowout that was and felt like, but they came back and they, again, you had the full Caleb Williams experience. You had some just wow athleticism plays, and you had some brain dead, what was that type of situations. And Green Bay again felt like a standard Green Bay win too. Big, deep vertical shots down the field, really strong defensive performance, opportunistic, and they look legit. But any thoughts on Bears Packers specifically?
Yeah, I think Dennis Allen's defense can only go so far. Like he plays, like he got like overly aggressive sometimes. And then if the blitz didn't get home, like there were just guys wide open because like the Bears secondary had no chance of keeping with these guys. Like when you have like Nashawn Wright on Christian Watson and like, or a safety on him, like it's just that they're not athletically capable of keeping up with them. Now they probably wouldn't be anyway. So that's why he's rolling the dice with this stuff. Is like, if it does get home, at least they have a chance defensively. And he's run it all year. It's like this high risk, high reward type of defense that has worked out for them so far against worse teams, but against more talented teams like the Packers, it's a little bit tough. You know what I mean? And so, but I think he's doing a lot with what he has right now. Again, Kyler Gordon injured pregame, didn't even play.
Right.
Jalen
Johnson went down.
This fucking guy. Get these guys out of here. Like, honestly, at this point, just forget it. Like, just if you can't ever be healthy, like, what's the point of having them? It's crazy. But I thought Caleb played really bad in the first half. Second half adjustments for Ben Johnson, by the way, have just been incredible. Like rushing game has been better. They're like number one in EPA in the second half and run of games and running. And passing, they jump up a bunch too. And like you saw, like Caleb came out, completed like 6 or 7 passes, touchdown drive right off the bat. Had another really good drive in the second half. I think it's honestly just Ben Johnson kind of learning like, oh, okay, we can run these couple plays. These will work.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can mix in some other stuff. It's tough. But I think overall though, it's like encouraging things. Like who would have thought the Bears would even be 9-4, competing with the Packers in Lambeau in 10 degrees, like should have, it was a very easily game by the end. So like, you can't ask for all that much more. They're not like an amazing team, but they're competitive. And I think that's all you can ask for.
Agreed. I mean, that's going to be a tough sell for the Bears fans that are, saw themselves at, the number 1 seed heading into the weekend and, saw some Bears fans out in the wilds and they're like, hey, 1985, we're going to run it back. I'm like, you guys aren't going to be in the 1 seed for very long, but, the optimism is not been rampant in Chicago for the last, decade plus. So I think, again, anything that comes out of this season for the Bears was a positive beyond getting the answer is like, did we get a guy at quarterback? Did we get a guy at head coach? And I feel like you have enough to know that you have those guys. Now, that doesn't mean that Caleb is not without his flaws, but at the same time, like the combination of these two things together, another offseason together, Ben Johnson being able to not have to worry about implementing a system and like running a building for the first time. He can go out and just, okay, everything's familiar. I'm doing this all for the second time. They're going to be an interesting team next year if they have a good offseason. So,
yeah. And I think they need a new left tackle. I mean, Micah Parsons was just eating the Bears offensive line lunch, like basically all game. The problem was Packers were rushing 4 plenty and just getting home like right away. So it's like anytime that happened, Bears just had no chance. And yeah, Packers are a good team. It's like exactly what we knew. And it was a big step up in competition for the Bears.
That's why when the Packers are doing their thing, they're going to be so tough to beat because they can win with 4. And they don't blitz a lot. That just makes it, you don't get to have those opportunities where you can pick on them because they blitzed and didn't get home. They just beat you with the guys that they have up front. And that's tough. So Bears dropped from 1 to 7. Because again, that's kind of what the NFC is right now, which is kind of fascinating. Now the Lions are right behind them at 8-5. Tough schedule for the Lions. Again, they are on the road in LA against the Rams this week, whereas the Bears host the Browns a little bit easier. And again, Bears got some tougher opponents on the other side of that here. Let's bring this up here. You see here for the Lions at the Rams, they host the Steelers. They go to Minnesota, and then that Week 18 game in Chicago, I think is probably going to matter, right? Depending on how this plays out. Whereas the Bears, they get on the other side of this here. Again, this is tough, right? Cleveland, Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit. Really, really, really tough. Not unheard of or out of the range of outcomes that the Bears are dropped from the 1 seed to out of the playoffs here in a couple weeks.
Maybe I'm crazy, but have you looked at the spread for this Bears-Browns game?
Is it 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5, 8. That is way too many points in my mind. I mean, this is like Shedeur, like you said, showed a pulse. I think we were talking before the show, showed a pulse. Like the Cleveland defense is really good. Could very easily give Caleb trouble, like lots of trouble. And their run defense, they just got destroyed by Tony Pollard. So maybe none of this matters. And the Bears are able to run the ball, but the rest of the season they played really, really well. And so there are very realistic outcomes here where the Bears just straight up lose as 8-point favorites.
Yeah. And then have, again, like we said, like some tough games on the back end there. So against playoff teams. So it's a tough spot. Yeah. 7.5 does feel like too many. I saw 7s earlier today, and now I see we're seeing some Bears action, which is fascinating. They let Shedeur cook. Someone who played the Junkins rushing attempts over, which we had Samson dinged up. Like we haven't had any Jerome Ford carries for a while. Like, all right, it just seems like it's kind of weather was a little bit wonky. They've been 10% pass rate below expectation since Shador took over. Just felt like we were going to run the football. Like, no, we're actually going to run it 14 times and we're going to drop Shador back 46 times. And he was pressured on like 63% of his dropbacks and still cooked at the end. I mean, all the way to the end until he wasn't on the field for the 2-point conversion. But again, what a great outcome if you're a Browns fan. Again, I know some people hate the tank culture, but let's just be honest. Like, you were competitive. You weren't tanking in that game. You were trying to see if you got a quarterback. The team was playing to win. Players aren't tanking. I don't believe that Kevin Stefanski is tanking in week 14. So it's not even tanking culture, but you got a loss. You came out of it and you didn't just get a loss. You lost to the team that was comfortably number 1 in the draft order. So like, you brought the pool back together. It was a good loss for the Browns.
Oh, great loss for the Browns. I mean, that's like, maybe they sold on the 2-point conversion. We got a call from.
You take a quarterback off the field. It seems like it.
It was a disastrous play. It obviously looked way worse than I think they probably thought, but who knows? I mean, I don't really believe in any of the tanking stuff overall. I don't think most teams do it, but this is an instance where I think you had an opportunity here last play of the game to make a call and be like, hey, call some bullshit. This is we need to bet this is a bit massive moment for us in the draft.
The problem is that seems like from Browns fans, people kind of circling that team, that it feels like Stefanski stuff has maybe run its course, which is kind of wild. The guy who's hasn't been coaching there that long and has won Coach of the Year twice is maybe not long for the position. So we'll see. That's the tricky part too.
Some decent coaching candidates this year, honestly. If you're looking for a new coach,
Stefanski gets cleaned up real quick, right? I don't think he's a free agent. If he wants a job, I think he gets a job pretty quick if he's let go.
Dable?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think the Dolphins do?
I think they hold on to him. I think they hold on.
You think so? Okay.
Mikey D. Yeah. I mean, look.
I think he's gone still. I'll bet that he's gone. Yeah.
Okay. I think you can't come back with McDaniel and Tua. And I think they bring in a legit competitor and really hope that the competitor wins, right? This is where we need Mayo's Jameis situation. Jameis is just the league's automatic quarterback.
Yeah,
he's just a rover. The Colts can just scoop him up, and give up, a 4th round pick, and they get Jameis for the rest of the season. And they just forfeit the pick. They don't trade it. Well, I guess they'd have technically a team owns his rights, and we were past the trade deadline. But just the thought was just let's just make Jameis available for anyone who needs a quarterback. The Colts would be fun if we had Jameis inserted in the Colts to be Jameis and Alec Pierce, Tyler Warren. That'd be a fun football team to watch down the stretch. But no,
it would be great. Instead, we get Riley Leonard, and then the Jets are going to be trotting out Brady Cook probably, or I would bet Justin Fields will probably be healthy actually by then, and we don't even know Tyrod's status. But Justin Fields' injury seemed more of a ego injury than an actual one, but I could be wrong there.
But Fields, Tyrod, Jacoby Brissett, and Jameis Winston are just kind of feel like they're I'm probably missing someone. Those are just mercenaries for
Yeah, I mean,
if you're
Flacco, maybe he's done at this
getting
point,
a little bit older. Yeah, it's getting tougher. But there's just some of those guys that maybe a Drew Lock, he's just someone that's just kind of lingering. Is he good enough can he knock off our starter? Maybe Spencer Rattler throws his hat in that ring. Younger guy, but wasn't awful this year. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I could see Miami doing something like that in keeping. Again, you just can't run back. I don't think that quarterback coach combination again and try to sell us on that, because what's worked for Miami to be 6 and 7 is I don't think 2 is topped 160 passing yards in a month and a half.
Nope.
They're just running the ball, right?
They just run the ball a ton. Yeah. I mean, I guess they've won 4 in a row, right? This is the problem. They've won 4 in a row. And so I thought he was for sure gone. And now you have at Steelers, which is, pretty winnable. And then Bengals, Bucks, Pats. So some tough games there. I think they probably lose 3 out of 4. But if they win 2, then they're 8 and 9, right? I think that's what they'd be 8 and 9. So I still think at that point he gets fired, to be honest. Actually, I still think I thought that we saw a couple weeks ago that they're not going to fire him in season. I also think in-season firings are just kind of dumb. Like, what are you?
Sure.
You're not like building anything going forward, not doing anything. It's more of just like a statement. Like, honestly, like it doesn't really give you that much of a head start over like coaching stuff. You're not really talking to anyone at this point, anyways. And if you are, you're probably just calling them behind the backs and just like having some low-key meetings that you're again doing probably anyways. So like,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I'll still go with he's gone, but we'll see.
Unless you're doing something where, and I don't even know if the Giants are doing this per se, but like you want to give an in-house candidate a look for consideration. Like that's kind of the only situation, right? Like otherwise, if you're like what the Titans are doing is like, what are you doing? Like, it's so stupid. Like, I don't understand who's running the ship there, but it is a tough slate. I just think it's impressive in a way that he didn't seem to lose the locker room necessarily, and the guys still went out like they won some games, but it felt like the ship was just, all the way over, right? Like it felt like he's running around and with his head cut off. It seemed like the post game quotes were bad, and it seems they've again just kind of held off a little bit and have been at least a little competitive. But Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Pats is kind of a tough stretch to finish. So yeah, not great. So Saints win in Tampa Bay. Another weather situation where that game took on a lot more rain than I was expecting. Again, another situation where I thought the game script was pretty clean. But no, instead we just need to see Tyler Shuck run a bunch and get a couple rushing touchdowns. And the Bucs are not a serious team, and they are now tied with another very not serious team at 7-6 to win the NFC South. Current standings, see projected is going 9-8 to both. Not pretty. Let's see what the odds tell us in the NFC South. Do you have anything to add on the Saints going into Tampa Bay and winning?
I mean, Emeka Egbuka played an awful game, just straight up like terrible game, multiple drops, dropped a potentially game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
Baker didn't look right. They couldn't run the ball that well. Bucky wasn't, super efficient. Rachaad White was actually technically more efficient. And on the other side, the Saints ran the ball ran the ball a lot. Devin Neal, played reasonably well, I thought. And then Tyler Shuck just like didn't have to throw the ball. And kind of just like they, I don't know, like lucked into a win, if that's the right word. Like they kind of played like ugly football and the Bucs just played worse.
Yeah, what's fascinating is we have 2 matchups still to go. These teams have not played yet. So they're going to play for the first time in week 16 and play again in week 18. The tough part is I think why we look at the futures odds and then we have, the playoff simulator here leaning Bucs is that the other game that kind of gets in the middle there is week 17. Carolina has to play Seattle.
Oh,
Whereas Seattle's going to need that game. There's no scenario basically where Seattle's not going to need to win that game. Whereas the other game there for the Bucs, they got to go to Miami, which again they could very easily lose to Miami, who's again just competitive and playing decent ball. So Tampa gets Atlanta on Thursday night. They are 4.5-point favorites, 5.5 on FanDuel. Carolina on the road in New Orleans. Who they just knocked off Tampa Bay. So that game is what, a 2.5-point spread?
Yep.
Yeah, Panthers 2.5 on the road there. So any thoughts on the NFC South? We're just arguing about which team loses a first round playoff game to.
I genuinely have no take on either team. They just don't interest me at all.
Right.
They're very much fine. There's nothing redeeming about them to make a run at this point. Yeah, I just can't get there.
The winner basically hosts whoever doesn't win the NFC West. So we either have Seattle at Tampa Bay, or we have the Rams at Tampa Bay, or Carolina in the playoffs. It seems.
I mean, they're going to be what, like, I don't know, 6-point favorites, something like that, no matter what on the road, which is a lot.
It's a lot. That's kind of what we're doing is we're fighting over who gets to lose to the Rams or Seahawks in the first round of the playoffs. So, they're locked in basically.
I would guess that maybe the Bucs have like just more upside if again, Tristan Wirfs didn't play, like Chris
Sure, wide receiver
Godwin,
room's getting
Mike
healthy.
Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, like would probably rather see them, but
Hard to agree. Hard to disagree with that. I don't think we think the Panthers are much of anything. But again, Panthers have like two of the biggest upsets of the season, right? Winning. They already beat the Rams, technically. I'm sure there's a Panthers fan listening to this right now and be like, hey, you bozo, we just beat the Rams. Bring them on, bring them back to whatever Bank Stadium is in Carolina. So that's, and again, that's, I guess, fair. And these teams have played this year, right? They've played in conference, so would be a rematch either way. But yeah, I'm with you. They're not serious contenders. But that was a bad loss. Anything else jump out to you? We kind of touched on basically a roundabout way every game, I think. We talk about the cover. We talk about the Raiders Broncos cover. Did you see this?
no, do we? Oh yeah, the cover, at the end of the game.
Yes.
I mean, people like what?
It's egregious.
This is crazy. Why did they kick a field goal?
I have no idea. The time expired. So like I get theoretically why you would kick the field goal is like, hey, we need 2 scores. We got to get one right now. Let's do it.
Yep.
But like the whole thing leading up to it was a little suspicious. It was just like, again, it's just kind of an old school play it out coach, right? That's not necessarily in Pete Carroll's DNA. Just be like, all right, we're going to take a knee. But it was like very aggressive with no timeouts with 30 seconds left. And like Kenny Pickett's taking chunk shots down the field.
Yep.
They get, again, that's probably a delay of game on Brandon Jones for knocking the ball out of it. He kind of laid down. He didn't make the tackle. And if you didn't see this, it was, basically 10 seconds left, 20-yard throw to Tyler Lockett, who, again, 1,000% does what Tyler Lockett does, falls down before anyone can tackle him. He gets touched down by a defender, and then safety Brandon Jones comes in, kind of lays on him, and then kind of as he's laying on him and getting up, knocks the ball out of Tyler Lockett's hands. It is, I think, at any other point in the game, probably called a delay game, and it's fair. From the official standpoint, you have to call the game at any point in the game, regardless of score and situation, but it stops the clock. They have no timeouts. They had no chance to get up to spike the ball. It's a 10-point game, 8.5-point spread. Well, they call the penalty, and he sends out the field goal unit from like 60 yards. The kicker booms one as time expires, and they cover. They lose by 7. They don't even have the chance to take the onside. So obviously, anyone holding an 8.5 Broncos ticket is irate. Anyone holding a Raiders 8.5 ticket is like, that's the most magical cover that I've ever been a part of. I imagine it's on SVP's Bad Beats tonight. I'm sure they unpack it a little bit, but I hate ref culture. I hate conspiracy theory. Games are fixed culture. It's the stupidest thing. But like, man, this is fodder for that subset of the internet.
Dude, insane. I just I feel bad because this feels like something that's like, oh, it's fixed, it's rigged. Like, why would they even kick the field goal? Like, I don't understand the argument, but like, I mean, I get it for this thing. Like, this, I was like, yeah, this just feels bad, but like, it's not, it just like feels really wrong. And Portnoy's run was hilarious. He was just going in, just like yelling about nothing, yelling about this.
I didn't see that, but that makes sense. He had a Raiders ticket or he had a Broncos ticket.
Yeah, he did. He's tweeting all these videos and just like going nuts on how the NFL's rigged and all this stuff. It was hilarious.
Oh man.
Quick note for any of our live viewers here. The Chargers have 20 minutes to activate Omarion Hampton.
Okay.
Well, 16 minutes at this point. So, yeah, I mean, if that doesn't happen, just put whatever you can on Kamani Vidal props. So it's like 30 yards, but who knows?
Add it to the slip. Be ready to submit when the news comes.
That's where I'm at. Just seeing, what we can get down here, and then, yeah, limits are good. FanDuel, all that. So we will see.
Let's see some of the marquee games, I guess, for week 15. We can look at some future stuff there too. Kind of touched on the Falcons Tampa Bay game. Texans are a sizable favorite at home against the Cardinals. No need to talk about that necessarily. Touched on the Bears Browns game. Ravens Bengals. Ravens 2.5 point favorites on the road. 51.5, 52 point total. And he leans on Ravens Bengals.
I mean, I think I just need to like quit betting on the Ravens. Like, I think it just needs to be until they prove me wrong that like they are the
Bengals here, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, the Ravens have played, or the Bengals have played better than the Ravens, like since they got back Joe Burrow, and the Ravens haven't looked right in like a month and a half.
Yeah, and I don't know what's changing that, right? Like it is.
Yeah,
the Lamar stuff is fascinating. I mean, this was like by DVOA standards, they were like a historically dominant offense last year, and they almost ran it back. It was right part of why we were so bullish on the Ravens coming into the season, because we're like, hey, look, they're running back the core, and they've actually added some pieces that I think are pretty interesting on the defensive side. And they just thought that they could have been a buzzsaw, and like Lamar, just not unsettled, like not ripping it, not electric, not running away from guys. The design stuff seems not as good. I don't know. I feel like it's the Bengals. And we joke that like they've killed the 6-point teaser, but like, man, Bengals in the teaser here would be lovely because you'd be able to get, nice, perfectly kind of long leg at home, high total. But I think any Bengals game with Joe Burrow at quarterback needs a high total because defense sure as shit's not stopping anybody. So, it's Bengals for me. Chargers, Chiefs. Chiefs 4.5 point home favorites here. 42.5, 43 is the total. Obviously, have a better sense of how we feel about the Chargers and if there's any lingering Herbert hand stuff. I guess I'm not too worried about it. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe we'll get some of those answers tonight. But these teams have always seemed to play pretty close games. I mean, it just is, for me, we've been hand up, like carrying the water for the Chiefs all the way through. We're not alone. For sure. It's been hard not to. But like this, the mindset of like, oh, their backs are against the wall now. Let's see how they respond. Like we've been there for like 3 weeks. They just haven't responded.
Yeah, and I mean they had a bunch of tough matchups, and I mean this is going to be another close game. So yeah, if I had to bet it, probably taking the Chargers here, depending on what we see from Herbert. Like if he can't throw the ball, then it's a problem. But I think he should be fine.
Yeah, I'll pull up these odds for people. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that too. I think he's going to be okay, but we'll get a better answer for that tonight. Let's see here. Jets, Jags, again, with the quarterback situation. I don't feel there's 13 points. I think we have 5 double-digit favorites here this week. So that's fascinating.
Seattle, insane. Eagles, yeah. I mean, well, makes sense. But yeah, Eagles 12.5.
Yeah.
Texans 10.
Some big
9.5.
ones.
Yeah.
Niners. Let's see here. Yeah, Raiders, Eagles. That's a big one. Commanders, Giants playing out the string. Giants short home favorites here. Again, currently via Tankathon would have the number 1 seed. But I think we saw the Raiders are currently there too. But again, both teams have something to play for theoretically. Losses with a 3-10 Commanders team and a 2-11 Giants team. We'll see what happens there. Bills favored in New England. 1 point, 1.5 points, 49 point total, 50. Yeah, I mean, 49 to 50.5 basically is where we're at total wise. This is disrespect. This is insanely disrespectful. That's okay. Patriots can build off of that. But what are your thoughts on Bills Patriots from an unbiased standpoint? Because I'm currently not unbiased. I will tell it myself.
I would probably lean under and Pats, but I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah. I wish we had Milton Williams. I wish that, Campbell was in the lineup. We'll see what happens. Like Robert Spillane got dinged up late or, like third quarter-ish in that game against the Giants last time we saw the Patriots. We'll see what happens injury report wise there. But yeah, I wish the Patriots were healthy. The problem is the Bills, in terms of the division, the Patriots are still in a really good spot. They're still in a really good spot to be the number one team in the AFC because the Broncos' schedule is pretty difficult. Let's see where the Broncos that we had it. Let me click into the Broncos. The Broncos have a tough slate. They host the Packers. It's kind of the next game. They're 2.5-point home dogs to Green Bay here this week. But again, they play Green Bay, Jacksonville. They go at Kansas City and then host the Chargers. So, 4 playoff teams ish. Well, 3 playoff teams in the Chiefs. It's kind of a wild thing to say. They're obviously going to make the playoffs. Not worried about that. But in terms of the number one seed, that's kind of a tough run out compared to the Patriots having the Dolphins and Jets on the other side of their schedule too. So, any thoughts on Denver being a 2.5-point home dog?
That's like, I don't know why. It's just like one of those teams that like I'm so uninspired by their offense. Maybe some of their quick passing game kind of mitigates some of the problems that Micah and them will cause, but they're getting pressure so fast with the 4 that like it allows them to drop back more, maybe even like they're just like play like counteract some of what the Broncos could hypothetically do well. So I have very low expectations for the Broncos scoring here. And then defensively, like I don't think that the Broncos match up super, super well against the Packers overall. I think part of the Broncos appeal is that they have Surtain who can take away like a big option, and the rest of the team is good, but not like, I mean, they're good unit in the secondary, but they're not like, all elite.
It's a good point. No, you're right.
Yeah. So like, I think they just match up better against teams with like an alpha and then a bunch of shitters instead of a team like the Packers, who is like 5 guys that can kind of win in different ways. And then LaFleur's a great schemer. So I hate to bet on like, the road favorite against a good team, but I do kind of think that the Packers are the side.
Yeah, I do too. It feels weird. Again, Denver's won 10 in a row. They're currently number one seed in the AFC. They're comfortable home dog here. Denver's just so weird. It's been such a weird team.
So
like we're gonna get into the playoffs with them, and like if they could win the entire AFC, would not surprise me. Them winning the Super Bowl would surprise me, but they also could get bounced by any of these teams.
Oh yeah, easily.
I mean, think about some of these wins that they've had where they had to come back again. Like the Giants win jumps out, just the kind of late heroics. Commanders, like they've kind of barely held on to beat some of these teams and needed some fourth quarter magic to get it done. So Packers I think you make a good point with kind of how they're built to operate here. Lions Rams, another great one on the week. 5.5, 6 points. This has kind of been cooked out a little bit. The Rams have taken some early money here. 54.5 to 55.5 on the total, which is substantial. The Rams just, I guess, the best team in football. I don't know that they're a great team, but I think they have the potential to be a great team. Worried about the Lions, who just continue to every week. It feels like last year, every week losing an impactful starter. Brian Branch, now going to be out for the year. Kirby Joseph he's been out for 2 months. Right there, Avonte Maddox is a bad slot corner that teams have been dying to not put on the fields, and he's going to have to get starting safety snaps. Like the Rams are going to find Avonte Maddox.
Right.
And make him cover Devontae and cover Puka and figure some stuff out. So, thoughts on this Lions Rams number?
I know our guy Hunter, who's crushing it this year on sides and totals.
Crushing it.
I think he had to win like 5-1 this week, up like 40 something units on sides and totals, which is awesome. He played over 53.5. That's up to 55. I doubt that he would still like it there or play it there, considering that's point and a half moves a lot, but just in general, like I think the Rams are going to be able to absolutely expose this Lions defense. So if I had to go somewhere, probably lean that way. The Rams defense, can be good. Like they've played some good games. I think they have some good players. So it's like, but the Lions have obviously been a wagon in their own right. I just wonder like if they fall behind and Jared Goff's kind of forced into like throwing mode and not running mode, like some blend. Like we've seen him fail kind of in those environments in the past. So we probably lean Rams. And probably lean towards the over, just because I think the Rams could easily score 30 plus here. We probably will get some pushback here from the Lions.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't. The Rams defense is invaluable. I think it's got some holes. They also have had some injuries, but yeah, I think you make another good point with the way Goff is. You kind of force him into taking away the run a little bit, right? Just the game gets flipped on its head, and you force him into clear drop back situations. That's a tougher road for them for sure. So yeah, and I just can't see a scenario where the Rams aren't scoring just a crap ton of points here. So Rams team total, 30 or whatever, under 31 is probably a decent look. It's just crazy. Let's see. We touched on just Colts Seahawks is a joke. It was going to be an interesting game, and now is moved 7.5, 8 points with the quarterback news there. We touched on Panthers Saints. Titans and Niners is 12.5, 13-point spread. Dallas and Minnesota. Again, Dallas would be a lot of fun to get in the playoffs. Their path, let me see. I think we're
over.
done.
Yeah, which sucks because
they need so much help. Yeah, they are. I mean, look, obviously the picking stuff like that happens on a Sunday, probably melds in to the day. But you get like George Pickens and you get a couple of random things. Like it's just such a polarizing player. Like Pickens showed a pulse and looked really good. And like, you can't scroll the internet without finding a like pro George Pickens piece. Is this the best duo wide receiver group in the league? Yep. How much are they going to have to pay Pickens in the offseason? And then you got like, did he try for that ball? And then that's an island game on a Thursday night. We get a full 48 hours of Pickens discourse before we get actual football again, and that's it's tough to listen to. Let's see.
He did not care like at all. Basically, he was just
didn't
out there.
Yeah, but he does do that from time to time. Their schedule's not tough. They could lose to the Vikings for sure, and again, they are 6.5 point home dogs there Sunday night. Then they host the Chargers, a game they can very much win. And then at Commanders, at Giants to finish the season. They can win out, and they have a 43% chance to make the playoffs. They basically would probably need some help with the Bears and Lions. Those are the other two teams that are kind of in the mix. Again, they play each other, so they would need some help in those non-games. So like the Cowboys really need the Browns to win this week, and they need the Rams to win this week. So the Cowboys win and the Bears and Lions lose. That gets a little bit more interesting. Let's see what happens if we do that, because we can do that here on the sim. Right, so we get the Rams win, and we give a Browns a win. Yeah, so he jumps up. We jump up 20%. So that Browns game is really impactful for the Cowboys, because then we get a little bit spicy, because then we go down here into Week 16. We already gave the Cowboys a win. Bears host the Packers. If that's a Packers win, now all of a sudden the Cowboys are more likely to make the playoffs than the Bears. What happens to the Lions in this game? Where are the Lions here? Lions play the Steelers. Interesting. Let's see if the Lions win that game. Yeah, so the Lions would have the tiebreaker, but that the Bears, that Browns game really matters. So
it's huge, dude. It's massive.
So Dallas not done, not ready to bury Dallas. Because look at them. I mean, the Bears again, the tough slate, right? Because the Bears are the tough one. They go to San Francisco. Oh, I mean, let's make that San Francisco. Now all of a sudden, the Cowboys are basically in the playoffs, and the Bears are drawing dead. So
right,
must-win game for the Bears.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
So let's see. Let's just take it off. Let's give the Bears the win here. Yeah. So I mean, this is
still not like completely dead, but definitely outside looking in.
Yeah. Because then we go to Week 18 and say the Cowboys beat. They win there, and then the Lions win. So again, even without it, if the Bears basically go 1-3 and the Cowboys win out, Cowboys still have a decent shot to make the playoffs. But things got real spicy if the Browns knock off the Bears here. So what is to make the playoff number for Dallas? Because again, it's shorter than it was this time last week, because there's obviously some optimism heading into that. To make the playoffs, almost 9-1. So it's better odds than you would get probably parlaying the rest of those Bears games. So
yeah, it's true. Interesting.
Fascinating.
Huh.
Cowboys fans, hold on.
Yeah, it's not over yet. Not over yet. You
Yeah.
never know.
Because look, I mean, then they get in, they're the 7th seed. Packers Cowboys, we've already done that. And it tied. It was 40-40. That's a very interesting first round of the playoffs, right? That's the marquee Sunday marquee spot is Cowboys Packers, right? Considering where we will be, the Packers or the Cowboys will be in like the pulse of the NFL at that point, having won 4 straight to kind of work their way in would kind of be fascinating. So, all right,
Crazy.
I think that covers Dolphins Steelers Monday night. Steelers are 3.5. I don't have any interest in that game at all. Maybe I will. Hampton elevated from the IR.
Yep,
Official.
right at the buzzer.
Yeah.
Cancel the slip. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't bet anything, but
Thanks, Doc. That's why you
yeah.
have in the slip though. You're ready to pound.
Right, exactly. Could have gone the other way. You never know.
Yeah. Let's see here. Any other futures? Anything you want to look at? I think jump out to you.
I thought Matthew Stafford's move in the MVP market was a little aggressive. It was like just because he did have an awesome game, but I mean the Pats were on bye. I don't know, like wasn't May the favorite last week?
Yeah, we flip-flopped the last couple every week. Yeah.
I would honestly buy Mayer and then just wait until he has an awesome game. If he beats the Bills, like he's definitely gonna be the favorite then again. And so then you can kind of flip-flop again and buy more on Stafford probably. I think right now it's basically a 2-man race, barring Josh Allen just going like insane mode the last couple weeks and winning it. Jordan Love, I guess, like it's not crazy to see him if if the Packers just like keep crushing, but I don't know. I think it's basically a 2-man race at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we've been here for a little bit. Those two have kind of entered the fray a little bit. Josh Allen is, I think, somewhat correlated with Drake May, right? If Drake goes, or Josh Allen goes nuts, and they, Patriots stumble a little bit, and then they come back and they win the division. That would be interesting for Josh Allen, but 15-1 is not really rich enough for me to kind of get in and speculate in that spot. Whereas I still think Stafford's a definite viable candidate, and he's not out of the mix, right? Like you would also, Josh Allen play is Bills win out, Pats really stumble, Seattle wins the West and he's the number 1 seed, right? You need some
and even then he won last year, right? So
yep.
And there's a little bit of voter fatigue. We got that last year with Lamar. So
yep, it's real. It's a real thing.
Interesting.
Yep. Let's see here. Defensive player of the year. Yep. Again, probably still too short. I don't know. Like, I mean, Micah and Will Anderson have been awesome, and Benino's been really good. Slowed down a little bit. Got a sack or 2 yesterday. There's some really great defensive performances from some of these guys this year, but again, Myles Garrett's he was minus 400 to get a sack yesterday. I've never seen that before. Like minus 400. Again, it was Cam Ward, who was taking the most sacks in the league, but it's just kind of crazy.
You know what breaks my heart is the offensive rookie of the year market that Woody Marks is seeing like 20 touches a game and just sucks so bad that he can't do anything and is still 175-1 on a team that's probably going to make the playoffs. You have to scroll like he's 100 worse than Kyle Monangai and RJ Harvey. And I mean, this is real disaster. Definitely sad. So, one of those, the process was great. He's seeing work. He's playing down the stretch and their offensive line stinks. And I think he might just stink. So it's kind of a problem.
Yeah, it's tough. Not as tough as Ashton
Jeanty, though. Yeah, that's worse. He was the favorite, right? Was
he
the favorite in there? Yeah,
for sure. Tough. Yeah. Tammy Millen, Jackson Dart, Abuka's definitely.
No one would vote for Shadur, would they? If he wins like a couple games?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think it's just too late, right? It's like, when didn't Flacco come in? Like, what week was it? Like 12 or 13, something like that?
Yeah.
Then he ended up winning it.
Nature of that award is so weird anyway, though. This is
Yeah, it's like comeback player of the year. I mean, these top of the board though for the rookie of the year is just like not inspiring though.
no, I know.
And
That is interesting, I guess, if Carolina makes the playoffs. But I mean, some of these, this is not a team-based award, offensive rookie of the year. So
I'm putting $10 on Shedeur.
I mean, it's
I'm
huge.
probably wasting money, but it's 250 to 1. So
Yeah.
If we talk about it and even think about it, which is what we're doing right now, and he wins somehow,
I mean, look,
I'd be just so upset.
Goes into Chicago and beats the Bears.
Right, that's what I'm saying, which we already said is possible. And balls out against the Bears. They win like 1 or 2 other games. If he beats the Bears, he'll be like 50 to 1, 60 to 1.
Right. You'll get
Some great
cash your
LCLV.
$10 out for $25 if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Just turn cash outs. Yeah, that's kind of worth a sprinkle here. Defensive rookie of the year. Imawari had a great game. I've been saying that for about a month. This is a 2-man award. Finally, Jalen Walker slipped back a little bit. Imawari's awesome, but Carson Schlesinger, 12 tackles again. He's got double-digit tackles in like 4 or 5 straight games. Gets another nice spot this week against the Bears, who'll probably run the ball a bunch, and he gets another dozen tackles. I don't know. It just feels like he better win that damn award. Let's see. I think that's kind of it. We don't have some of the other comeback player of the years. I just don't understand this award to handicap it. Yeah, McCaffrey's been awesome, but I don't even know. Should he be the offensive player of the year? Like that swung massively this week too. With
JSN.
Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. JSN, massive favorite, couple touchdowns. Taylor, the team situation, obviously that's going to get tougher. Gibbs has been awesome. McCaffrey's been awesome. Like, these 4. McCaffrey should probably be shorter, but he's not gonna come back on JSN there. So not a great current state of awards to jump into speculatively. Right? Like the AFC playoff picture is so jumbled. I don't really have like a spot to jump into on the AFC playoff board.
Right.
The NFC is pretty wide open. But there's a couple of teams that are shorter than others that aren't great prices. So their Super Bowl numbers are pretty suppressed because they're probably going to be a favorite regardless of who comes out of the AFC. So not a great award season, I don't think.
No, nothing too fun except for when Shedeur wins rookie of the year.
I like it. Good speculative ad. All right. I think that wraps us up. Anything else with the people? Any Monday night plays? Anything else what's hot? People want we didn't have our Mayo show today, so people want some our Monday plays. Yeah,
it's tough. The 2 I had written down for the Mayo show. I actually started prepping for the Mayo show. I forgot we weren't even doing it. I liked Gadsden under, and then Hampton carries under, and another service bet both of those like 2 hours ago. So those numbers are cooked out a little bit, unfortunately. I think this game's gonna be super ugly. So I think we're gonna just a lot of unders is the way to go.
Can I interest you in a Jalen Hurts under completions? Like 17.5.
Maybe
pretty low, but I think it's like plus 100. I don't know.
I mean,
the vibes are so bad. I think you'll have a sweat. Right?
Yeah.
You're not getting crushed by Jalen Hurts. Like the play volume so low, like the combination of their play volume is really low. Opposing teams running the fewest plays in the league against the Chargers, that their play volume against is low. There's not a lot of pace. Like again, plays I think are going to be at a minimum in this game compared to a standard game. So now you're talking about superb efficiency for Jalen Hurts, and I don't feel that that's probably happening. So that's of interest to me.
That's not bad. No, I kind of like that. That's a fun look.
Yeah, like 17.5. Not widely available yet, I don't think. I think like Nakobe Dean over 6.5 tackles is interesting. Played full-time snaps for the first time last game against the Bears. He came back, he's been playing like 60% of the snaps, and I think he played all but 1. So combination of, I think, a heavy run game script and stuff like that. Like even with the press plays, I think that's is pretty interesting. So that's one of my tackle looks.
Fun.
All right. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We'll be back with Mayo next Monday. I think we'll be back here. Move the line. 4-for-4 bets on 4-for-4 live on YouTube's on Friday for prop drop. So appreciate everyone hanging out with us as always. Hit the subscribe, like, Go to 4for4.com, take advantage of SharpStack. Free 7-day trial. For Connor, I'm Ryan. We'll see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.